And Isabel.
You make me laugh out loud, belly laugh.
Is that important first thing in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's me trying to be deadly serious. News is a serious business.
Yeah, I have to rein you in sometimes.
Well, it doesn't stop us laughing at it. It doesn't stop us having an opinion on what's going on.
Yeah.
And it certainly will not stop us reflecting what you think.
Weekdays from 6 to 9:30 on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's 7 o'clock, so you know what time it is. Let's kick off tonight's Friday Night Feast. Welcome, everybody. I'm Patrick Christys, and we have a jam-packed show for you. So here's what's coming up over the next 2 hours. Save the Children right to turn down a £750,000 donation from a fossil fuel energy firm to help those in Ukraine. Or is this just a classic case of virtue signalling gone wrong? I'm going to be getting bang stuck into that, let me tell you. I'm disgusted by that. Anyway, move over, Beth Tweddle, because if you've ever wondered what it would look like to do the vault, well, you're in for a treat this week in Challenge Christys. There he goes. Look at that. Look at that. Nimble. And, of course, we're going to be meeting, oh, look at that, the dog of the week. It's Cola. She's a golden oldie, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, who still has a playful side and is looking for a forever home. See what we did there? And you won't want to miss the woman who wore a bin liner and used fake paparazzi to successfully get into a top fashion event. We always love to see it when someone mugs off the fashion community, but how will her outfit look on me? Yeah, I know. Plus, I wonder just how gullible you, the great British public, really are this week.
Now, wag your tail again, right, if you think, right, that we shouldn't be raising the cost of living.
That's one of my better interviews. Now, do stick around, but first, let's get the headlines with Miranda Shankar.
Thank you. Good evening. The top stories from the GB newsroom. A joint game plan with the EU to reduce Europe's dependency on Russian energy has been announced by President Joe Biden. The US will provide the European Union with at least 15 billion additional cubic metres of liquefied natural gas by the end of the year. Russia has claimed the first phase of its military operation in Ukraine has mostly been completed. The Defence Ministry says it's now focusing on the country's breakaway Donbass region, which includes Luhansk and Donetsk. The US is describing it as a negotiating tactic. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces still reportedly control the besieged port city of Mariupol. The country's top security official says they're holding on and no one will surrender. In other news, the murder trial of Sir David Amess has been shown the suspect's police interviews. In the video, Ali Harbi Ali was heard calmly describing how he carried out the attack. The court's been told the 26-year-old stabbed the Conservative MP 21 times in October last year. He has denied murder and the preparation for terrorist acts.
We have been informed that you made a significant comment following your arrest, where you have made the comment, "It was terrorist." Is that correct?
I think I said, what's it called? The nature of the crime, I said is terror.
Mr. Ali, is this a terrorist attack?
I mean, I guess, yeah, I killed an MP and I've done it, yeah.
Okay.
2 men and a teenage girl have been given life sentences for killing a father of 2 in Cardiff. Jason Edwards, Lee Strickland and Dion Timms Williams murdered Gary Jenkins in July 2021. The prosecution says the attack was motivated by greed, homophobia and violence. A man who murdered his ex-girlfriend's 2-year-old son has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 25 years. Kamar Brown and the child's mother, Felicia Shirley, abused Kyrell Matthews for weeks, leaving him with multiple rib fractures and internal injuries. Brown was convicted of murder, while Shirley was found guilty of manslaughter and jailed for 13 years. Well, on TV, online and DAB Plus radio, this is GB News. Now let's get back to Patrick.
Good evening, everyone. I'm bang up for this one. Now, with me for the next 2 hours is the Dashmeister. Yes, that's right, he's back. Media personality and commentator Ryan Dash, Mark Parsons, and the shy and retiring, the very quiet, the meek and mild political commentator Andre Walker, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, look at him, already getting stuck in. Now, talking of getting stuck in, let's do exactly the same thing, OK? Let's have it. So, the charity Save the Children has turned down a £750,000 donation from a company involved in fossil fuels. So apparently, children don't need saving. They literally should call themselves Don't Save the Children. I'm sure the kids lying under rubble in Mariupol, or those being bombed as they attempt to flee Ukraine, are absolutely delighted that Save the Children has taken a moral stance on fossil fuels. They care more about sustainable energy than sustaining children's lives. The irony is that Save the Children is actually now blaming children for their decision. Get this. A spokesperson said, "We've changed our policy following a lead given by children all over the world who've protested about the threat the climate crisis poses to their future." What absolute, complete and utter nonsense. Go and ask those children campaigning for climate action whether or not they would actually want other children to miss out on funding because of their actions. It's disgraceful. Charity should have a singular purpose, a single objective, to help their chosen demographic. It's not as if a neo-Nazi organisation was offering them cash, is it? We're talking about Neptune Energy here, an international oil and gas exploration production company. Save the Children International CEO, Inga Ashing, earned £190,000 in 2020, apparently. It's nice work if you can get it, isn't it? I bet Inga, maybe, if she has children, I reckon they're probably quite safe, don't you? Perhaps they could donate the next 4 years of her salary to make up for this ridiculous decision to virtue signal about the big green agenda at the expense of actually looking after vulnerable children fleeing war. But of course, £250,000 is small change compared to some other charity bosses. Steve Gray at Nuffield Health, pay range, 840 grand to 850 grand. What is it about the highly lucrative job role that made you want to go into the charity sector, Mr. Gray? I wonder. Jeremy Farrar, Wellcome Trust, pay 456,000 big ones. Simon Cook, Marie Stopes International, pay £435,000. David Miliband, do you remember him? He's the former Labour MP who got mugged off by his brother, so he left the country to coin in £768,000 a year fronting up International Rescue Committee. Yeah, well, they also offer unpaid internships, which is not very charitable, if you ask me. But back to the cancellation of donations. Britney Spears' sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, she offered to donate some of the proceeds from her forthcoming memoir to mental health organisation This Is My Brave, but was turned down after a few idiots online raised concerns over her role in her sister's conservatorship. Again, I'm sure those people at risk of suicide as a result of their mental health problems will be eternally grateful. Something similar happened a bit closer to home too. Two of our country's leading private schools turned down a £1 million scholarship donation for white boys from impoverished families to go and get a first-class education. Working-class white boys are usually some of the worst performing in schools. They're often the most in need of a leg up, in need of help. Yet Dulwich College and Winchester College turned down the gift from the philanthropist Sir Brian Thwaites over fears that it would break equality laws. Well, that's strange, isn't it? That's strange, because there doesn't seem to be the same issue with Stormzy's scholarship for black students at Cambridge. In fact, big corporations were queuing up to come on board with that. HSBC UK pledged £2 million to support 30 new Stormzy scholars at the University of Cambridge over the next 3 years. I suppose working-class, underprivileged, vulnerable white boys just don't tick the right boxes, do they? And even when certain charities receive the money, there are serious question marks about what they do with it. Oxfam, for example, wanted to reach out and touch the lives of children. Unfortunately, some of their aid workers took that rather too literally in Haiti. Look, when it comes to Save the Children, the time for virtue signalling is when children have actually been saved. The children of Ukraine, Syria, etc. They need all the help they can get. They absolutely don't need an overpaid CEO to take a moral stand on fossil fuels, especially when phosphorus gas bombs might be about to start falling from the sky. Well, there we go. OK, well, look, I want to know what your views are. GBViews at gbnews.uk. But joining me on this issue before I bring in my panel is Nick Buckley, who is a charity founder and author of Lessons in Courage. Now, he knows all about virtue signalling charities, as he was dismissed from the very charity he actually founded, Mancunian Way, after penning a column that was critical of the Black Lives Matter movement. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Nick, what do you make of Save the Children's decision to not save the children?
You could call it a dereliction of duty. If their aim is to save children and then they refuse legally earned money, so this isn't drug dealers' money, this is legally earned money that could help save the lives of children, and they refuse it for political reasons, dereliction of duty, absolutely.
And can you imagine now, you know, those children clinging for their last breaths under the rubble in Mariupol, thinking, goodness only knows how grateful I am to save the children that they've decided to take a moral stance on fossil fuels, Nick?
Absolutely. I don't know what those children will be thinking. But let's take it one step further. What would we do if children in need then say, we're not going to help children who live in homes who use fossil fuels. We're not going to help children who are not vegetarian, because manufacturing meat destroys the climate. Where does this nonsense stop? When you set a charity up, you have to have aims of what your charity is about. And Save the Children's aims will be saving children. It will have nothing to do with the climate, with politics, with the green agenda. And all these things need looking at within the charity sector.
Yeah, I hope we saw some images there of very young children fleeing the conflict in Ukraine, and I hope that the people of Save the Children are looking at those now, because if in any way, shape or form that 750,000 quid, which they've refused, could have gone to help a little girl that you saw there, she can't have been more than 1 year old, 18 months old, something like that, then frankly, they should hang their heads in shame. Have you ever refused money for your charity, out of interest?
No, but I've had this conversation many times. And it's never been about the green agenda. It's always been about alcohol companies or gambling companies. Right. And my response has always been, if it's a legal company and we feel that company may be damaging society, well, they're the companies we should be giving back the most. It's their money we should be taking to improve the lives, improve the communities they may or may not be damaging. So absolutely take their money.
OK, and I take it so you would have taken their money now then. If this was 750 quid for your charity, you would have taken it. Would you have ripped the hand off?
Absolutely. And most small charities would rip your hand off. It's only when you get to these big ones, these multinational, huge, multi-million earning charities who are run more like corporate entities than charities. And if the people who run these charities are saying this isn't virtue signalling and this is the right thing to do, then how about they index link their wages to how much money they turn away? So if they turn away 7% of money every year, well, how about you take a 7% pay cut?
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mentioned the individual there who's in charge of Save the Children International. 4 years' salary would have just about covered the donation that this was supposed to be. Maybe she could move that onto one side and give it to them. Nick, talk to me about the problem of virtue signalling in the charity sector there, because you suffered from it, didn't you?
I did. So the charity sector is completely woke, even all the way down to a lot of the small charities. It's pink and fluffy, nice people who want to change the world, and let's all sing Kumbaya, and let's give each other group hugs. And let's do some good work along the way, which is what they should be doing, the good work along the way. But then somewhere along the lines of the last 20, 30 years, charities have decided between themselves that we're now the voice of the moral of the morality of the nation. And they are not. They're just one instrument trying to do good. And we need to get away from this. I mean, one of the warnings I can give you now that will come to pass in our lifetime is there's going to be a huge scandal in the charity sector, because it's not fit for purpose. There's too many people earning far too many wages. There's too much fraud. There's too much corruption. They're involved too much in politics, and they're interfering too much in other people's countries. all this will come out at some stage.
Really strong stuff to finish on, Nick. Thank you very, very much. As always, Nick Butley, fast becoming a regular here on Friday Night Feast, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You founded Mancunian Way. Thank you very much. Going to bring you my panel now. Andre Walker joins me now. The reason I bring you in first, Andre, is because you've just done some charity work in Ukraine, actually, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, and I have to say, I've found all these organised charities to be completely useless. The people who are really running the charitable operation in Ukraine are the Polish and Ukrainian organisations around Europe and around the world. Forget Save the Children, forget the rest of them. Neptune Energy shouldn't have bothered. They should have given it to something like, I don't know, Slough Polish Centre, because they're sending way more stuff than Save the Children are ever going to do. But the reality is, we are now in a position where I believe that climate change is a religion rather than a science. People are just obsessed with it. You have this priestly class who understand better than anybody else. And then we even have Greta Thunberg, the child sent to save the sins of the world.
This is it.
I mean, it is unbelievable.
And they were blaming it on, in a roundabout way. My interpretation of what was said there by Save the Children was that their response to this, their decision not to include things like fossil fuels as their organisations, etc., as their donors, I should say, is based on the movement of children all around. Actually not saving children by blaming children for it, I think is an absolute disgrace. But, Ryan Mott, can I just, I open it up to you a bit, really. How do you feel about this? Would you have taken the money, I suppose?
I would have taken the money. I think the CEO should be jumping up and down, celebrating such a huge donation. I think, quite frankly, it's pathetic that they've rejected this money, and the CEO should be ashamed. And I honestly feel rejecting such an amount in favour of fossil fuels and saving the planet, that charity needs to change their mission statement. They're not about saving the children, they're about saving the planet.
That's a good point, actually. Sorry, that's a really good point. Because, actually, if their charity was called Save the Planet, there probably is one called that, let's be honest, then that's a fair enough decision.
Yeah.
But it's not. And now there are children starving, hungry. Goodness knows only what. We know there's human traffickers on the borders there, for example. 750 big ones could have helped.
But if you want to jump on your moral high horse, why not say the Russian army was funded by the Russian oil and gas industry? Isn't it great that the Western oil and gas industry are now trying to fund the protection of children? Look, I think that this is just really, really shameful. But the reality is, it doesn't matter to these people whether they save the children or not. They're still making off like bandits. I remember speaking to the Bangladeshi High Commissioner, who said that every time that country gets back on its feet, every Western charity runs adverts across the world saying what a dump Bangladesh is and how it's always underwater. Look, it's on a floodplain, right? But people will not invest in the country because it's constantly being accused of being an absolute hellhole.
Yeah. Does it make your skin crawl a little bit when you hear about some of the wages that some of the CEOs of these charities are on? 800 odd grand. And, David Miliband, for example, coins it in from International Rescue Committee.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, earning such high amounts and they're rejecting £750,000. I mean, what justifies that, Charlie? What are they actually doing if they're not helping the children in Ukraine, but they feel they can earn that ridiculous amount of money each year? I think it's disgusting, really. It really is.
Yeah, well, look, both of you, thank you very much. We're off to a rip-roaring start here on Friday Night Feast, ladies and gents. As you always know, we like to tackle some of the big stories of the day and get stuck right into them, as we just did there. If you are just joining us, Save the Children knocked back £750,000 in donations from a fossil fuel company. Why? Because they wanted to take a moral high ground. If you're watching, I think anyone from Save the Children should be absolutely disgusted with themselves, because there are indeed enough children that need saving and now maybe will not be as a result of this decision. But still to come. Get in touch. GBViews at gbnews.uk. We've got an eclectic mix this evening on Friday Night Feast. Challenge Christys. Find out how I got on when I took up gymnastics. I think we can all guess, don't we? Plus, this week's big debate. Do we need another COVID jab? Will you be getting another COVID jab? I actually took to the streets earlier to find out what some of you thought on all of that.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christys here, back out and about for GB News. Now, it's been announced that the fourth COVID vaccine is available for those who are eligible, but I want to know whether or not people are a bit over this now, whether or not anyone is going to get any more COVID vaccines. Let's find out.
Yes.
Why?
To enable myself to be immune to COVID, so I'm not clogging up a hospital, so potentially I'm not passing it on to other people.
I think too many, common sense is like, how many do we have to take it, right?
Yes.
Why?
To be protected, so I can go on my holidays.
Oh yes, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Now it's happening and we have to fix it.
Not for me, I don't think.
Out of interest, why not?
I think they're more probably orientated towards older generation, aren't they?
It's absolutely ridiculous for people not to have injections that are available.
No more for you.
Ever?
Yeah, ever.
If I needed to have them, I will. I've had 2 and a booster. Quite happy to do so.
I think we will get a booster.
No.
Why not?
I haven't had.
You haven't had any?
Any.
Can I ask why?
It was too early, I believe.
I've had 3.
Yeah. The 4th one's available, that's why
I will have it, yes.
Right, well, there we have it. The public have spoken. It's a bit of a mixed bag, I think, really, it's fair to say, about whether or not they're going to get any more jabs. Where do you stand on this? GBViews at gbnews.uk. Will you be getting any more COVID jabs? When we come back from this very short advert break, we're going to be going head-to-head on this. We're going to have a debate. Should people get any more COVID jabs?
GB News is the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
To stay up to date on the latest stories,
make sure that you subscribe to the GB News channel
right here on YouTube.
You can watch us live 24/7 across the whole world.
You can also check out exclusive content and catch up on previous episodes of your favourite shows.
Every day, we ask the questions that you'd ask, so why not add your voice to the conversation in the comments section?
Don't forget to subscribe. We are GB News, Britain's news channel.
Every night at 11 on GB News, we bring you the next day's stories the day before. Basically like time travel.
If it's a big story, we'll cover it, guaranteed. But we'll also have some fun along the way.
Big opinions, big laughs. Sometimes big hair.
This is Headliners, the paper review show that won't send you to sleep like the others will.
11 p.m, 7 nights a week. Join us.
Hello there, I'm Eamon Holmes.
And I'm Isabel Webster.
And we hope you can join us for
Breakfast with Eamon
and Isabel.
You make me laugh out loud, belly laugh.
Is that important first thing in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's me trying to be deadly serious. News is a serious business.
Yeah, I have to rein you in sometimes.
Well, it doesn't stop us laughing at it. It doesn't stop us having an opinion on what's going on.
Yeah.
And it certainly will not stop us reflecting what you think.
Weekdays from 6 to 9:30 on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Yes, well, you may have seen in the news this week that the UK is ploughing ahead with plans for a 4th COVID vaccine. Have you had enough of the never-ending cycle of coronavirus jabs? Are you willing to take your own chances with natural immunity? At the end of the day, it does seem like a never-ending cycle of every 6 months or so you're going to have to go and get a jab in your arm. And I wonder whether or not we signed up for that. Have you ever heard of a vaccine like that before? Have you ever heard of one where you keep having to get it topped up, where even after you've been topped up for a 4th time, you could still contract coronavirus and still pass it on? Or, actually, do you feel as though this is necessary? Are you incredibly grateful? Will you be queuing round the corner for your 4th jab as and when it comes around? I want to hear from you on this. GBViews at gbnews.uk. Will you be getting any more coronavirus vaccines? Well, joining me now is Doctor and Senior Clinical Lecturer, Dr David Strain, and also we're going to Professor Angus Dalgleish, who's a Professor of Oncology at St George's University of London. So we're going doctor versus doctor on this, ladies and gentlemen. Stethoscope to stethoscope, white coat to white coat. Welcome to you both. Thank you very much. Right, well, I'm going to start, if that's OK, with Professor Angus Dalgleish, obviously, as I've just said, Professor of Oncology at St George's University of London. What's your view on this? Will you be getting any more COVID jabs? Do you think people should?
No, I don't. Basically, I don't think we should even have had the booster. Everybody, I mean, the 3rd vaccine booster, everybody I know who's had it has gone down with COVID very shortly afterwards. And there's a very good reason for this, and that is that the vaccines were basically targeted at the first couple of strains of the virus that we had 2 years ago now. And the booster is to boost these when those viruses have long gone. What we now have is a totally different shaped virus and a number plate, antigens, etc., called Omicron. And this basically is not protected by the vaccine. And actually, even worse, if you give a booster, the immune system goes up in its high horses, as it were, to see the vaccines that are no longer there, and Omicron slips in and infects you.
Slips through the net, does it? OK, well, we'll return to all of that. There's lots to get stuck into there. But, of course, we also have Doctor and Senior Clinical Lecturer Dr David Strain. Thank you very much. I'll bring you in now. Will you be getting any more COVID jabs? Would you advise everyone else to do the same?
So I will be getting my COVID jab when the time is right for me to be getting it. And that's not yet at the moment.
Yeah. You're nowhere near old enough.
We are all really hopeful that by the time the majority of us are ready for our booster, that we'll be into the bivalent or the trivalent vaccines, that will be bringing the original components. So the antibody soup that we had in our first instance gives us about 15 different antibodies. And we still know 8 of those are effective against the Omicron variant, but we do accept that that's lost half of it. By the time most of us are ready for our boosters, we'll be having bivalent vaccines that will be against those 8 and also Omicron specific, or for that matter, whatever variant is around at the time. The problem is, at the moment, particularly for the elderly, particularly for the immunosenescent, those who have got immunocompromised, the efficacy of the booster has worn off. And for those population, I do accept that it's not perfect, but boosting those 8 antigens that are effective is going to be enough to see them through the summer until we've got that specific vaccine.
OK, Professor Angus, I'll bring you back in now. Let's say I was a vulnerable elderly chap with some kind of underlying health issues, which is no doubt a window into my personal future. But would you recommend now, even for me, you'd say no, don't get any more jabs?
Not for you, but for somebody who's elderly and very much at risk, then I don't think it will do too much harm, except it's not going to last very long. We know that the third vaccine lasts only up to 8 weeks or so, and we know from the Israel studies that the 4th booster vaccine only lasts about 5 weeks or so. And, you know, the thing is that people have lost the sight of, this is not the antibodies that are important. Yeah. This is a vaccine which is controlled by T cells, which nobody designing these vaccines thought about T cells until after they started going into patients. And we know from SARS-1 that SARS-1, which is a very, very nasty virus, 17 years ago, those people who survived it and are very healthy, they have fantastic T cells. Okay. They don't have any antibodies at all. Okay. So I think we're focusing on the wrong thing.
Dr David, can you understand why some people say maybe this is a money thing? We were very grateful at the start, maybe, for several companies creating a vaccine for us, and now we feel like we owe them. So we're going to keep rolling this thing out relentlessly to help line their pockets.
I can see why people have that perception, but actually in the UK, those companies aren't making anything like the profits they are elsewhere. The UK government has provided the underwriting, the insurance, so that we can get our doses of vaccines far closer to the cost of actually manufacturing them. So it is not so much a money spinner. It's about keeping people out of hospital. And I think it's the one thing that we can agree on is that that at the moment, we are seeing unprecedented number of patients in hospital. Today, I have more patients, mostly of the elderly variety who had their original vaccine 8, 10, 12 weeks ago, their booster. I've got more patients like that in hospital today than I had at the peak of the second wave.
Okay.
We need to be doing something in order to keep those people healthy and to get our death rates back down to what they were in pre-December. And unfortunately, at the moment, the only solution we've got is that booster vaccine, even if it does just generate the 6 to 8 weeks protection until the summer arrives and the distribution gets there.
I'm going to finish with the dreaded yes and no question now, chaps. And I'm going to start with you, Professor Angus. In your honest opinion, do you feel like we're out of this pandemic now?
Yes, I do. Certainly this one. There might be something else coming along, but this one is now dying like we predict with all pandemics. They go in waves and then disappear. OK, good stuff. Same to you then, Dr David.
Far from it at the moment. I've got more patients in hospital. I'm having daily deaths directly of COVID. Until that stops and the NHS is back tackling waiting lists, the pandemic isn't over.
OK, good stuff. Look, both of you, thank you very, very much. Fantastic stuff, cracking debate. Really good to have it in that kind of environment and setting as well. Doctor and Senior Clinical Lecturer Dr David Strain and Professor Angus Dalgleish as well. He's a Professor of Oncology at St George's University of London. Now, of course, Dr David unfortunately wasn't able to make it into the studio. Of course, you know, don't get me wrong, there's no way he could have made it in, but we still wanted to get him on. But Professor Angus is going to stick around for a little bit anyway, and I'm going to bring in my panel. So let's bring in the panel on this. Andre, start with you. Fourth COVID jab, yay, nay?
Oh, do you know what? I hate when you go on the TV and you see people going, I've had all my jabs. I didn't have any of them.
Really?
I just couldn't be bothered, right?
Okay.
There's no great reason for it. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just couldn't be bothered getting a taxi to Slough.
Very few people can, to be fair. Very few people can.
But I think in reality, what David Strain just said is what really, really worries me, which is because he's at the coalface and because he sees people dying of coronavirus, he is willing to throw a massive amount of money down the toilet on a really pretty ineffectual vaccine just because it might make things slightly better. And actually, I just think that that's incredibly dangerous. We saw in that statement by the Chancellor what a disaster our public finances are in.
Okay.
To pour more money down the toilet is really obscene.
Well, Ryan, Mark, you don't strike me as someone who's particularly vulnerable, but would you... I mean, I'm not asking you, I would never ask you to reveal... Andre obviously said he'd not had any. I don't... It's none of my business how many jabs or otherwise you've had, but how do you feel about this potential never-ending cycle of vaccines?
Well, I've gone on other programmes and I've always ardently supported the vaccine. I've had 2 jabs, but I think, honestly, enough is enough. Yeah. I can't deal with this sort of perpetual campaign to get more and more jabs. What is it, 4th, the 5th, the 6th? When is it over? We've heard from the doctor that there isn't a pandemic. It's done and dusted. So when are we actually going to say, that's it? If you're that scared of life, lock yourself in your house and never come out again if you don't want to face viruses and other diseases. I mean, it's pathetic at this stage, I think.
How did you find the media's role, and as a journalist, I'm quite keen to get your take on this, the media role in perpetuating the COVID theatre, really, and really kind of maybe forcing through an idea that everyone has to be jabbed, everyone's got to be completely dosed up to the eyeballs with a coronavirus jab, and that we need to keep doing it, and we're not out of this pandemic. What role do you think the media's played in that?
I think they've played a terrible role. I think that they have really compounded the fear factor throughout the whole of the epidemic, and they have a lot to answer for. But they have had about $500 million in government funding in order to have those adverts in every newspaper you buy, to have that, have you had your 3rd vaccine? I had it for my mother, etc., pouring out of the commercial radio stations. Yeah. So I think that's been appalling. There's been no debate about whether this vaccine is any good.
It's actually any good, yeah.
Absolutely no debate whatsoever. In fact, I was reading and researching for a big presentation I was giving, and I found there's 3 papers confirming what I said right at the beginning. You're probably better off correcting the unbelievable endemically low vitamin D levels with very cheap supplements and that probably could have done just as good as the vaccine programme.
But isn't vitamin D the one that's undermined if you lock yourself up?
Yeah,
like
of course,
exactly. This is one of the tragedies of lockdown, and it was not necessary at all. It was the biggest
Sorry.
It was the second anniversary of lockdown the other day.
Second anniversary was. And it is terrible. You lock these people down, they are frightened, they don't exercise,
terrified.
They don't get any sun, they have very bad diets delivered to them.
Absolutely.
And so when they're released, they come out into the streets, they've got their immune system suppressed, they've got no vitamin D unless they've been supplemented, which the government refused to do, because Chris Whitty told me indirectly that there wasn't enough evidence it was needed.
But Whitty was on the TV saying that childhood obesity was going up. That's right. I mean, that's because you've sat everybody at home. They're all ordering pizzas all day.
I've got a lot of problems with Chris Whitty personally. But anyway, there we go. Right. Well, I could talk to you about all of this all day. Thank you very much, Professor. Brilliant to have you in. You've got to come back on. We've got to come back on. But we will be back in just a couple of minutes. But before that, I have a quick question for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a shift in tone now. We've done some of the serious stuff. Now it's time for a little bit of a laugh. So which gymnast has the most Olympic gold medals? Simone Biles, Larissa Unpronounceable Surname, or Max Whitlock? Tune in to find out.
GB News is the UK's home of discussion and debate
from all perspectives.
To stay up to date on the latest stories,
make sure that you subscribe to the GB News channel
right here on YouTube.
You can watch us live 24/7 across the whole world.
You can also check out exclusive content and catch up on previous episodes of your favourite shows.
Every day, we ask the questions
that you'd ask, so why not add your voice to the conversation in the comments section?
Don't forget to subscribe. We are GB News, Britain's news channel.
Every night at 11 on GB News, we bring you the next day's stories the day before.
Basically like time travel.
If it's a big story, we'll cover it, guaranteed. But we'll also have some fun along the way.
Big opinions, big laughs. Sometimes big hair.
This is
Headliners, the paper review show that won't send you to sleep like the others will.
11 p.m, 7 nights a week. Join us.
Hello there, I'm Eamon Holmes.
And I'm Isabel Webster.
And we hope you can join us for
Breakfast with Eamon.
And Isabel.
You make me laugh out loud, belly laugh.
Is that important first thing in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's me trying to be deadly serious. News is a serious business.
Yeah, I have to rein you in sometimes.
Well, it doesn't stop us laughing at it. It doesn't stop us having an opinion on what's going on.
Yeah.
And it certainly will not stop us reflecting what you think.
Weekdays from 6 to 9:30 on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to Friday Night Feast. Before the break, I asked which gymnast has the most Olympic gold medals. Was it Simone Biles' Lisa unpronounceable surname or Max Whitlock? And the answer is Larissa unpronounceable surname. There we go. Couldn't even pronounce her first name there. So she holds the world record of 9. And there we go. So well done, I suppose, Larissa, or indeed Lisa, or whatever you want to be known as. But next, it's time for my favourite bit of the show. Let's have it. It's Challenge Christys. Right, well, there we go. So it's time for a bit of anything you can do, I can do better. So you've already seen me take up wrestling, Irish dancing, cold water swimming. There's nothing I can't do, or indeed won't. But this week, you've set the bar a little higher. So remember any Challenge Christys ideas that you have, and make sure that you get in touch with them. Patrick at gbnews.uk. All of these so far have come from you, the great British public. So thank you very much. And also, you know, maybe just try and tone it down a bit next week, because it is starting to hurt. So without further ado, here's this week's Challenge Christys. It's gymnastics. You're in for a treat. Hello everyone, Patrick Christys here. This is the latest instalment of Challenge Christys, where you, the viewer, the listener on radio, or of course the viewer online as well, get to challenge me something. And I prove once and for all, yet again, that I can do it much better than you ever imagined. Right, well today I'm in an industrial estate in Milton Keynes, at least the sun's out. But I have noticed the Domino's sign just up there. And I am really hoping, ladies and gents, that you guys are going to challenge me to, I don't know, eat a pizza, make a pizza, eat a pizza again. So let's find out. Cheers, Alex, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, well, today, let's do gymnastics. So I'm here at Kingston Gymnastics. Now, it looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? I can't wait to get started. And I'm joined by a lady who I can only assume teaches children how to forward roll.
Well, actually, my name is Lisa Mason. I am an Olympian gymnast, gold, silver medalist at Commonwealth Games, and also 3-time national champion.
So, gone right to the very top here, have we? Thank you very much. What are we going to do today, then?
We are going to have you doing some tumbles down the track, maybe a few vaults, and potentially swinging around a bar.
Right, I'm good at the bar bit, actually, to be fair. Very good at the bar bit. Kind of wish I was there now, actually. I'm going to be all right in this, am I? Or?
Absolutely not.
No? What shall I wear?
This one.
Oh dear, I'm Patrick's producer and he's a bit apprehensive about coming out.
Not coming out like this.
Patrick, you have to come out. It's part of the...
I'm not doing it. I look absolutely ridiculous. Cancel the filming. Just tell everyone to go home.
Patrick, you've got 3 seconds. You need to come out or you're fired.
Fight? I can't fight. Oh.
Come on.
I feel like a bit of a mug, really.
It's not that bad.
It's bad. Right, OK, so what we do now, then?
So now we are going to go over to Gloves and Loops Bar. Now, we generally use this when we're teaching young kids how to swing around the bar. It's a safety device, so we basically use the loops to tie ourselves onto the bar, so we don't ping off and break our necks.
Right, oh, good.
So we're going to try and attempt to do some baby swings.
Baby swings.
And then we'll see.
OK, so can you show us how it's done?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I tell you what, let me just try a swing.
We'll do some swings.
Do some swingy stuff and we'll see how we go. Yeah, I'll see the
This way.
That way, right,
That's
fine,
it.
OK, good. Oh, yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. I need to get off. I need to get off. I'm actually in quite a lot of pain now. Can you get these things off my wrist, please? Oh, thank you. Thank you. How do you do it? Can you do it?
Shall I try and switch?
My producer, Tatiana, has been giving me nothing but grief all day, actually, about my inabilities in the gym. Now she's going to try and do it.
That's it. That's it. So, arch kick. So, okay. I'm going to help you. That's all. Get your legs in.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just have a quick word? Is that all right?
Yeah. Having fun?
I just thought, what happened over there, Dan?
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? It was good. Oh, it was amazing.
This is me. This is my show.
Yeah,
This is what I do. It's called Challenge Christys. It's not Challenge Tatiana. That doesn't even work. It doesn't even like alliterate.
I get that, but if you're not going to do it...
I did try to do it.
Yeah. OK, I won't get involved in the next one, but...
Yeah?
I was still
do you
good.
promise? Whoa. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm great at this. Have a go at this, Tatiana. Yeah? See? But you can't do this, Tatiana. Hey! You're not supposed to show him that, man. Amateur. Right, well, I've obviously nailed absolutely everything so far. Dead easy, to be honest with you. What are we going to do now, then?
So we're going to come to floor. We are going to do a little dance passage.
I was expecting ribbons.
No, that's rhythmic gymnastics, not artistic.
I was promised ribbons. I was told it's a deal breaker for me if there's no. It's a deal breaker for me if there's no ribbons. Oh, I like it.
We're going to go 1, 2.
1, 2, hit.
Click.
Click.
Turn around.
Turn.
Skip. Turn.
Turn.
Roll and then up onto here. Anyone that I trained has always been, you know, top notch, and I just believe that he's under my wing, so. Up, and turn, skip, turn, drop to the floor, roll, into splits, and ta-da.
Right, so what are we doing now?
We are going to go onto the vault. So the idea is we're going to run down this little vault run.
Okay.
We're going to jump on this trampet. We've given you the trampet, not the springboard.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Reach to the end and we're going to go up potentially into a handspring, which is
handspring?
a handstand over, and you're just going to plop into the bit.
Okay, does it hurt?
You might want to come forward a little bit.
I think I'm all right here. I feel I've got a good run up.
But if you go too far, you're going to go flying over it.
Everything's going to be fine, all right?
Okay.
Okay. If you want your help, I'll ask for it. Thank you very much for whoever challenged me to do gymnastics. That's it for another. Stop it, you! That's it for another episode. Another episode of Challenge Christys. Ow! Challenge Christys. I'll be back soon doing something like this again. Challenge me, and I'll see you in the studio. Oh, God. Oh. Nailed it. Was that good? I can't, I'm stuck. Oh, no! Well, there we go. I'm still not quite physically right after that. But anyway, what do you make of that, ladies and gentlemen? Make sure you can challenge me as well, Patrick, at gbviews.uk. Right. I'm pleased to say that Olympic gymnast Lisa Mason joins me right now. Here we go. Lisa, thank you so much. I can't just say thank you so much for opening up Kingston Gymnastics as well for me in Milton Keynes. It was great to have your expert tutelage. How did I do, first and foremost? Excellent, I imagine.
I don't think you did too badly, to be fair. I think, you had a bit of pizzazz about you. So, we definitely had a little bit of an X factor with our gymnastics.
Indeed, there was something, I think you could say it's gymnastics as though you'd never seen it before. But talk to us a bit about yourself. Because you've actually had an absolutely stellar career, haven't you?
I had quite a few firsts for Great Britain, yes. So I was the youngest ever senior champion in women's artistic. I was 14 when I won the first senior title. I also was part of the team that sent a first whole team to the Olympic Games. We'd never done that from Great Britain before. I was the first GB gymnast to qualify and win medals at World Cups and make finals at World and European events also.
So well done. Fantastic. We do a segment called National Treasure at the end, but I think maybe you could be this week's National Treasure anyway. But talk to us a little bit about how people can get involved. If they've had a look at me there doing gymnastics expertly, magnificently so, gold medal worthy, if anything, I should be teaching you. But if people want to get involved and they'd like to look at that fantastic gym and your expert tutelage there as well, how can people get involved?
Most areas have local gymnastics facilities. Google is a fantastic place to find out where they are, but most places generally have local basic beginners to advanced classes. So just try and search them out in your area.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to ask you again about something that I did there, or rather didn't do, and I was on the bars. And as I said, I normally do quite like the bar. I quite enjoy a very different kind of bar, to be fair. But why was I strapped on? What was all that about?
Well, it's a safety precaution. We generally put our little gymnasts in there, and it's to basically get the gymnasts to find their swing, to understand what they're doing with their body without pinging off the bar and, breaking their necks. So it's a safety device that we use to get them used to kicking and potentially eventually going over the bar to do what is a key element in gymnastics, which is a giant circle.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I can't thank you enough. And I'd also like to give a special shout-out to... There's a girl called Megan who's at the gym who's a world champion as well, isn't she? And Darren, who was helping you out with me. I needed quite a bit of help as well. So I want to say thank you very much to everyone there and everyone at Kingston Athletics as well. Gymnastics, sorry, I should say, because it was a fabulous thing that you did there. You opened up the whole facility for us and made us feel very, very welcome and put up with me for the best part of one afternoon. So
it was all joy. It was fun. We had a great time. So thank you for coming down.
Brilliant stuff. Yes, Lisa Mason, Olympic gymnast, Commonwealth gold medalist as well. Great to have you on the show. Now it's time for a little bit of panel reaction to all this. I'm going to start with you. I imagine if you can talk, if you're not taking your breath away completely, how do you think I did?
I'm pretty traumatised by what I just saw.
Was it the leotard?
Yeah, I think so. That scene was horrific. But you know what? I can't do gymnastics, so you do better than me. I've tried roly-polies, but I think I'm just a bit too fat.
No.
Like, the stomach gets in the way and I can't, go over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, actually. I did try to do one. Andre, yourself, I mean, again, I imagine you were just blown away by that.
Yeah, I mean, I was certainly blown away. There's no doubt about that. I'm convinced that your favourite film's Bridget Jones.
Yes.
You like the male version of her going out, absolutely disgracing yourself to get yourself on TV.
I am.
There's a whiff of desperation, Patrick.
There's a whiff of desperation.
When I first met you, you were a serious journalist working at a national newspaper, respected, wandering around the lobby of the House of Commons, and now you're doing roly-polies whilst strapped to a bar.
I know. It's amazing how far I've sunk. But look, thank you very much, everyone who just keep nominating me to humiliate myself on national television, I'm more than willing to do it. Patrick@gbnews.uk. Keep those ideas coming in. We've already had some absolute crackers. Of course, if you decide that you can't be bothered to type my name in and then my actual email address, you can also go gbviews@gbnews.uk as well, and we'll read some of those out, so keep them coming in. Now, next week is only 7 days away, so make sure that those challenges actually do come through to me. You can also tweet us at GB News as well. But, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for Patrick's Hat Trick. Yes, it is indeed time for Patrick's Hat Trick, where I pick out some videos over the past 7 days that have taken the world of social media by storm. So we start with some pure skill from Charlie Clark, a young goalkeeper who scored an incredible last-minute goal from his own half. Take a look at this.
Go on, Charlie, go on. It's it, it's it, it's it. That's it, it's in! Yeah! Oh, what's the goal? What a goal! Oh, brilliant! Last minute!
I mean, the best bit about that was like, go on, Charlie, hit it. That's it, get in, son. Yes, absolutely. I was just quite keen to know, Ryan Mark, how are your ball handling skills?
Very good. Very good.
Good.
In fact, I was a goalkeeper when I was younger. When I wasn't playing hockey or lacrosse, I was actually in goal.
Really?
Very good. Very good with the ball.
OK, good. Fantastic stuff. Yourself, Andre?
I love the way you played hockey and lacrosse. That was like rugby in the pub, right? The posher element on that side. But do you know what? My dad used to be the manager of a club football team, and then he went on. He's on the executive of the Lancashire FA because he's into youth football. And the dads get very, very into it.
So into
I mean,
it.
sometimes it used to descend into violence. Like, don't you let our Mickey, don't hit him.
Yeah. Exactly. Right, well, we'll rattle on with the next one of Patrick's Hat Trick, and it's time for a bit of Kim Jong-un action. That's right, new Kim Jong-un's just dropped. He's at the World of Hollywood, treating him to a rather bizarre slow-motion video released by state TV. In it, the country launched its largest ever intercontinental ballistic missile, showing the world the might of North Korea's nuclear force. Have a look at this. What an absolute spanner. So for our radio listeners, that was Kim Jong-un essentially doing a Top Gun impersonation while he launches a missile. I'm just going to put this out there. Ryan Mark, what was your fee for that one then?
Oh, what are you trying to say? I look like Kim Jong-un?
Yeah.
That's
no, sorry, I just thought I'd drop that one in there, but no. I mean, are you scared of little Rocket Man?
He's living the dream, though, isn't he? But I know he's a complete wrong-un. I know his behaviour's bad. But my favourite thing about Kim Jong-un, do you remember when he ate so much cheese and he got gout and couldn't walk for 2 weeks?
We've all been there.
He was incapacitated and had to be kept in his palace. I think he's just a loony. But I thought it was great when Donald Trump said, we've both got a red button, but my one works. And that shut him up for a bit.
Yeah, it did, actually.
He's lost a lot of weight recently.
I was about to say, Kim Jong-un looks pretty well.
Well, I think he's gained some in that video, but he did lose a considerable amount of weight. And I thought it was quite a sexy kind of entrance. And, you know, I think Boris Johnson should be doing something similar.
Well, would you've been on Celebs Go Dating, would you date Kim Jong-un?
No, I think that'd be like dating myself. Sure.
It would be, but looking in the mirror. Well, then maybe
but
you'd like
that's
that.
not a bad idea, because I'm very self-centred and arrogant. So
oh, stop it, you. OK. Right, now, loads of you have been getting in touch, so let's dive into my massive stack of interaction. So post-person Pat time now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. So Emden on Twitter, interesting name. That says about Save the Children, which is what I was talking about earlier. If they refuse that money, do they actually need charitable status? This is about the fact that Save the Children turned down £750,000 in donations from a fossil fuel company. Why? Well, because they decided to virtue signal over fossil fuels. Maybe they should just save the children. On COVID jabs, John says, to have something injected in my body which doesn't guarantee I won't catch it, nor pass it on to others, says to me, no. And he's capped up no, so he really means it. I'll rely on my body's own natural immune system. Fair enough. This was the question I asked before. We had a massive head-to-head debate on this. We went doctor versus doctor, didn't we, on whether or not we should be getting any more coronavirus vaccines. Eileen's been on. She's emailed in to say, the approach on how to deal with the COVID virus is quickly becoming a total farce. Why on earth can we not all be following the same recommendations, OK? Fine, well, there's still plenty of time to get in touch, as always, all the usual ways. GBViews at gbnews.uk. Tweet us at GBNews. And, of course, yes, challenge me to humiliate myself yet again on national telly. Patrick at gbnews.uk. But I've got another jam-packed hour ahead for you. And we are basically heading in to another barbecue-friendly weekend, apparently. Let's try and find out, I suppose. I think we're going to go to the weather very, very shortly, but apparently not now. So, yes, anyway, right, well, both of you, what do you make of... That's all right.
It's just all gone wrong.
The weather can wait. The weather can wait. Oh, here we go. Fantastic. Well, you know what? Hopefully everything's all right there. And finally, we have a real-life Avenger, or so it seems, out in the streets on his Segway. Shall we take a look at this randomly instead of the weather?
He's quick.
He's wicked. He's blowing. Oi, race him, Charles, race him.
I was doing 40 mile an hour.
It's on the half as a motorbike.
Yeah, I prefer that than whenever anyone's on a penny farthing, though. I always think they look like absolute plonkers, like Jeremy Vine. Now, Jeremy Vine, I always feel a little bit sorry for his wife, actually, because for a few reasons. But when they're at the park, you know, they're at the park there, maybe with the kids, or if they walk a dog or something, I don't know. And, you know, which one's your husband, darling? Oh, is the one over there on a penny farthing?
No, it's not.
You know, it's not a great look, is it?
It's not. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. But I mean, when you're talking about great looks, I'm sorry, Patrick, but after the gymnastics thing, I mean, you just can't. You're just surrounded by a big glass house. Pick the stone up and hurl it
And lob it in there. Exactly. Now, would you ever be seen dead on a Segway?
No, and I hate all of those things. I hate the scooters as well. So if I saw that steaming down the road, I'd probably kick him off.
Yeah, exactly. I like the fact that because, unfortunately, the weather didn't quite happen at the time, we actually used a video of a man on a Segway as a Segway so that we could now fill a little bit of time. So we've got another jam-packed hour ahead for you. But first, are we heading into a barbecue-friendly weekend? Let's find out with the weather.
Hello again, I'm Luke Mile with your forecast and plenty of dry, warm and sunny weather to come as we go into this weekend. If you like it dry and warm, as I say, we've got plenty of it to come. High pressure in charge of our weather, which means the weather's not moving very quickly. It's staying fairly stable, and there's not much winds around with those isobars few and far between across the map. So it stays settled. Aside from a weather front just affecting the far north of Scotland, that'll bring some cloud and outbreaks of rain to Shetland over the next 12 to 24 hours. But away from that, through Saturday into the early hours, that is, we'll see plenty of clear skies. So a chilly start to the day. Temperatures dropping down to 1s and 2s, so there will be a touch of frost, I think, first thing. 1 or 2 mist or fog patches as well. But we are compensated with a lot of blue skies to wake up the day with, and plenty of sunshine lasting throughout for most places. We will see a bit more cloud around the west of Scotland and across the Northern Isles and the far northeast of Scotland too. A little bit of fair weather cloud may bubble up elsewhere, particularly over the Pennines, but for the vast majority, it once again will be a warm and sunny afternoon. 19 degrees the top temperature, could even get close to 20 in a few places. The average for this time of year is around 12 or 13 degrees. Through Saturday evening then, a lot of fine weather to end the day. A few bits and pieces of cloud melting away, and it stays dry and clear. But we will start to see more cloud drifting in off the North Sea. Low cloud at that, so misty and murky conditions developing for eastern Scotland, eastern England, East Anglia and the southeast of England as well. A bit more of a breeze in the southeast will make it feel that bit cooler as well. And that low cloud just drifts its way a little bit further westwards as we go through the day on Sunday. So a different picture for some central and eastern areas of the country. A lot more cloud around, feeling colder than it has done of late. Further towards the west is where we'll see the best chance of that sunshine and those higher temperatures. But it stays dry with some sunshine into next week. Cooler by Tuesday. Bye-bye.
GB News is the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
To stay up to date on the latest stories,
make sure that you subscribe to the GB News channel
right here on YouTube.
You can watch us live 24/7 across the whole world.
You can also check out exclusive content and catch up on previous episodes of your favourite shows.
Every day, we ask the questions
that you'd ask, so why not add your voice to the conversation in the comments section?
Don't forget to subscribe. We are GB News, Britain's news channel.
Every night at 11 on GB News, we bring you the next day's stories the day before.
Basically like time travel.
If it's a big story, we'll cover it, guaranteed. But we'll also have some fun along the way.
Big opinions, big laughs. Sometimes big hair.
This is
Headliners, the paper review show that won't send you to sleep like the others will.
11 p.m, 7 nights a week. Join us.
Hello there, I'm Eamon Holmes.
And I'm Isabel Webster.
And we hope you can join us for
Breakfast with Eamon
and Isabel.
You make me laugh out loud, belly laugh.
Is that important first thing in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's me trying to be deadly serious. News is a serious business.
Yeah, I have to rein you in sometimes.
Well, it doesn't stop us laughing at it. It doesn't stop us having an opinion on what's going on.
Yeah.
And it certainly will not stop us reflecting what you think.
Weekdays from 6 to 9:30 on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Evening everyone, happy Friday. It's 8 o'clock and you are watching Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys. That first hour flew by, but coming up this hour, here's what we've got. Our big issue, how do you feel after Will and Kate's trip to Jamaica? It was a bit of a PR disaster that they faced, not the only one. Is it time that we just scrapped the Commonwealth? What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? GBViews at gbnews.uk. We will also be trying to rehome our rescue dog of the week, 11-year-old Staffordshire Bull Terrier, Cola. Can anyone give Cola a home? Plus, we meet tonight's national treasure. It's the woman who tricked the fashion industry and turned up to an event wearing just a bin bag. In fact, she's going to be in the studio and she's going to make me wear a bin bag. But first, let's get the latest headlines with Miranda Shankar.
Thank you. Good evening. Top stories from the GB newsroom. A joint game plan to reduce Europe's dependency on Russian energy has been announced by President Joe Biden. The US will provide the European Union with at least 15 billion additional cubic metres of liquefied natural gas by the end of the year. The Ukrainian president's top official says he's disappointed by the NATO summit and was expecting more bravery from the world's leaders. The comments come as Ukrainian forces reportedly hold control of the besieged port city of Mariupol. Ukraine's top security official says they're holding on and no one will surrender. Russia claims the first phase of its military operation in Ukraine has mostly been completed. The Defence Ministry says it's now focusing on the country's breakaway Donbass region, which includes Luhansk and Donetsk. The US is describing it as a negotiating tactic. In other news, the murder trial of Sir David Amess has been shown the suspect's police interviews. In the video, Ali Harbi Ali was heard calmly describing how he carried out the attack. The court's been told the 26-year-old stabbed the Conservative MP 21 times in October last year. He has denied murder and the preparation for terrorist acts.
We have been informed that you made a significant comment following your arrest, where you have made the comment, "It was terrorist." Is that correct?
I think I said, what's it called? The nature of the crime, I said is terror.
Mr. Ali, is this a terrorist attack?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I killed an MP and I've done it. Yeah.
Okay.
2 men and a teenage girl have been given life sentences for killing a father of 2 in Cardiff. Jason Edwards, Lee Strickland and Dion Timms Williams murdered Gary Jenkins in July last year. The prosecution says the attack was motivated by greed, homophobia and violence. A man who murdered his ex-girlfriend's 2-year-old son has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 25 years. Kamar Brown and the child's mother, Felicia Shirley, abused Kyrell Matthews for weeks, leaving him with multiple rib fractures and internal injuries. Brown was convicted of murder, while Shirley was found guilty of manslaughter and jailed for 13 years. Talks between union officials and P&O Ferries over the sacking of almost 800 workers have ended without agreement. The Rail, Maritime and Transport Union says the obnoxiousness and hostility of the company was on display during the 20-minute meeting. The union is urging the government to force P&O Ferries to reinstate its members. Well, on TV, online and DAB+ radio, this is GB News. Now it's back to Patrick.
Well, a royal tour of Jamaica intended to boost relationships with Commonwealth countries and celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee turned into a bit of a PR nightmare for Prince William and Kate. Their first royal engagement in Belize was cancelled following a residents' protest. There were also protests in the capital, Kingston, calling on the UK to apologise now for its slave trading past. The Jamaican PM also hinted that he would rather not have the Queen as head of state anymore. Of course, all of this comes less than 6 months since Barbados implemented that exact step. So, have times changed? And can the royals change with it? Could we be seeing the beginning of the end for the monarchy as we know it? And to discuss this with me now, I'm joined by royal correspondent Jenny Bond, the wonderful Jenny Bond. Thank you very much, Jenny. Looking rather resplendent this evening, I must say. Are you off out this evening?
No, I'm actually in the middle of giving a bit of a supper party. We're between the main course and dessert at the moment.
Well, OK. Well, sorry about interrupting that, but no, fantastic. OK, look, so do you think we're witnessing the end of the monarchy as we know it? Do you think the Commonwealth will just fall apart?
Well, I think you're conflating two completely different things here, the monarchy and the Commonwealth. They're two separate entities. I don't think we're seeing the end of either as it happens. This has been a tricky royal tour for William and Catherine, but it hasn't been disastrous, and goodness knows in 30 years of covering the royals, I've been on a lot of tours that have had problems and tricky moments such as this. I mean, it has sparked debate about the future of the Commonwealth, but I think there's a huge misunderstanding about what the Commonwealth is and what it represents. It's a network of 54 countries. 34 of them are republics. Only 15 of them have the Queen as head of state, and 5 actually have their own kings and queens. So it's not some kind of royal club. It's a network of countries who have shared ideals and shared values, and they voluntarily belong to.
Yeah. Well, why has the Jamaican Prime Minister then been so forthright in his views on this? Do you think he's just signalling to his people? Do you think it would actually make any practical difference? Why wouldn't he want the Queen involved?
Well, what they want is to sever the ties with the monarchy. They want to choose their own head of state. And goodness me, that's entirely logical. Yes, it was a little bit brutal, and it was an awkward moment when William and Catherine were ushered in. They weren't even, this is a different occasion you're looking at now, but they weren't even offered a seat. And then he more or less told them off like school children and made it very clear that William is not going to be King of Jamaica. Now, this is something that the royal family will take completely on board. I don't think they'll be offended by it. They weren't offended by Barbados leaving, severing the ties with royalty, as you say, back in November. And I think other countries will follow. I mean, to all intents and purposes, anyone sane would say it's ridiculous to have your head of state living thousands of miles away across the other side of the world. For example, Australia. And I think the royal family accept that Australia will go the same way.
Sorry about heritage, culture, tradition, you know, these important values.
Well, they will remain, and the countries that are leaving are not leaving the Commonwealth. It's important to remember that. They can if they want to. but they are not leaving the Commonwealth of Nations. And those that have left the Commonwealth in recent times, for example, the Maldives was the most recent, South Africa is another, they chose to leave the Commonwealth, and a few years later they applied to come back. So a lot of countries say that they find value, they find benefit in, as I say, the shared interests and values. And it's important, I think, for the world to have networks of friendship rather than single entities of countries that go their own way.
Do you think Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have had anything to do with potentially the hastening of these kind of comments from the likes of the Jamaican leader there? There were obviously veiled, not so veiled, allegations of racism about the royal family. Jamaica, of course, a predominantly black country. Do you think this has had any impact there whatsoever?
Well, possibly the allegations by Meghan Markle that one of the royal family, a member of the royal family, made allegedly racist remarks. It could have landed in Jamaica, certainly. But fundamentally, this is the direction that many countries in the Caribbean, and I say Australia, are going in. And it is a natural progression, I think. But it does not signal the end of the Commonwealth, and it certainly doesn't signal the end of the monarchy.
OK. Do you think that the royal family, like William, for example, should come out and apologise for the slave trade of the past?
Well, he expressed profound sorrow, and he repeated his father's words that slavery was an atrocity, it should never have happened. To say sorry, that comes with all sorts of implications about possible reparation, and we're probably talking financial reparation here for the sins of our fathers. And that is going to be a political domain. It's not one that the monarchy should or would get involved in. So he went as far as he could in expressing profound sorrow. I know people think he should have gone further, but really that is stepping into the area of politics.
And just finally, really, Jenny, before I let you get back to whatever delights await at your dinner party, I must say, quite keen to get your take on the fact that actually the tide appears to be turning just in a societal sense, not amongst your average kind of man and woman on the street, but amongst our Hollywood celebrities and, all these kind of people when it comes to our royal family, really. Do you think that actually there's a risk of the royal brand becoming toxic in some circles?
Well, I know the royal family have always hated the blurring of the lines between royalty and celebrity, but you can't get away from the fact that in this day and age, they are celebrities. And that, I think, is quite important, actually. They've got to accept that they are famous and they are going to be on the front pages of magazines. And that is important because it keeps them relevant, it keeps them in tune with the younger generation. I've always said that I think the greatest risk to the monarchy, the threat to the monarchy, if there is one, is the apathy, particularly of young people who just don't really care. So by seeing them on trendy magazines and on YouTube and all social media, that makes them much more in touch and relevant. That's important.
Good stuff. Right, Jenny, all that remains is me to ask you what's been on your menu this evening.
Fish cakes.
Oh, all right. I tell you what, I want to be at one of your supper parties, that's for sure. Jenny Bond, thank you very much. Esteemed royal correspondent and an absolute legend as well. There we go. Time for the panel now. Andre, bring you in. Do you think that William and Kate should apologise for slavery?
Sorry, I thought she was going to say foie gras and Chateau Lafite, not fish cakes.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude to the woman, but it seemed a bit of a... look, I'll tell you one thing that annoyed me. Did you see Nicola Sturgeon when she apologised for witchcraft trials? I think it's pathetic to apologise for something to which you're not responsible. But I would warn countries like Jamaica that there is a risk of breaking the link with the United Kingdom. There are all sorts of weird and wonderful little benefits about having the same head of state. You will see on the TV all the time coins that are made by Commonwealth countries with the Queen on that are for sale because they have pounds as well. I've got a very good friend of mine who's a senior Coldstream Guard who was not a British national when he joined the Coldstream Guards. He's from Jamaica. That's something that you're able to do because of these traditional links. And so I do think there is a danger. And of course, the other joke is Barbados elected the Governor-General as president.
Well, this is what I was going to say.
So, I mean, it's just nothing changed in any practical way. But I think William and Kate may have found it difficult, but politicians will show off. And if they want to become a republic, they want to become a republic. But as far as I can see, I don't know what the advantage of it is.
No. Do you mourn the potential loss of that history and heritage and culture, I suppose, though, or not?
Well, I love the royal family. Anything connected to the royal family, I just absolutely adore. And I think the Commonwealth is an amazing thing as well. You have the Queen's canopy, something like that.
Depends whether or not you're eating.
Well, like Jenny Bond's passes, fish cakes, fish fingers. They're championing environmentalism. I think that's a great thing. Celebrating all of these 54 countries in the Commonwealth. So I'd really hate to see that disintegrate. And you have a lot of miserable people citing the past. As Jenny said, William has said that it was a stain on British history, so did Prince Charles. They've recognised that. They've said it in their speeches. I think we can move on and just focus on what's good about the royal family.
Andre, I'm concerned that actually some of this has had to do with Harry and Meghan, and they've hastened maybe some of the negative attitudes about the royal family, both within our society here and potentially abroad as well. What's your view?
Yeah, well, I get incredibly frustrated when you see people like Ellen DeGeneres accusing the British nation of racism. Of course, the problem is, in the United States of America, there might have been some discrete racism towards Meghan, but of course we know, and the people watching this programme know, that we're not secretly racist against Meghan. We just thought she was very showy.
Just don't like her.
Yeah, and just tried to take over.
Just don't like her.
It's an annoying person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But of course now, a lot of people, particularly in America, and indeed who are affected by American culture, simply believe that the royal family and British people are racist, and that is the problem with Meghan Markle. And I feel that Meghan Markle has won that war, and much as it's a huge frustration to anybody watching, I think we've been tagged with the racism charge.
I'm inclined to agree with you. Just on that, then, Prince Harry, would you be happy if he never set foot in this country again?
Well, I hope he's barred from this country. I can't stand that couple. I think Meghan is a desperate sort of fame-hungry wannabe, and I think she has really stained the royal family in many ways. Like Andre was saying, you've now got this label attached.
Yeah.
And it wasn't helped as well with William and Kate going to Jamaica. I think there were some major PR flaws there.
There were.
The pictures that emerged with the Jamaican children by the fence.
Exactly.
I mean,
I didn't think it was I've got to be honest with you. I don't know how you feel at home about this, ladies and gentlemen. I love the kind of pomp and ceremony of it all. Obviously, I love the royal family, and I don't think there's anything wrong with them whatsoever. But it was bad optics, I felt, when you've got William in his resplendent white suit, Kate in the white suit, elevated up, and being driven through, I suppose, townships, you could say, whatever. It was a little bit out of date for me.
But the slight problem is, whatever way you look at it, he is a white billionaire, right? You can't get away from the fact that when a white billionaire visits a black country and sees poverty, it's going to look like that. But I think we shouldn't be overly sensitive about this. The relationship between Britain and Jamaica has been long-lasting. We wouldn't have been able to destroy the Spanish if we'd not kept all of our ships in the Caribbean. So that was a bit of a benefit. And Jamaica continues to contribute not just to the Commonwealth, but to British life in general. And I think that's a great thing. So, look, I don't think we should be overly sensitive of it. And I'm just going to accuse you of being a communist on this.
Come on!
I think you are falling into the trap of the political left by being sensitive to a white billionaire wandering around the black community.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I wasn't you surprised me so much that I've actually choked.
Have some more peanuts, you'll be all right.
There you go. Yes, no, I've actually...
Have a ciggy and do your breathing.
That really stuck in the craw, that, Andre. But, right, OK, ladies and gentlemen, there's still loads more to come this evening, including Round Your Parts, where we delve deep into the world of local news, so don't miss that. But we'll see you after this very short break.
GB News is the UK's home of discussion and debate
from all perspectives.
To stay up to date on the latest stories,
make sure that you subscribe to the GB News channel
right here on YouTube.
You can watch us live 24/7 across the whole world.
You can also check out exclusive content and catch up on previous episodes of your favourite shows.
Every day, we ask the questions
that you'd ask, so why not add your voice to the conversation in the comments section?
Don't forget to subscribe. We are GB News, Britain's news channel.
Every night at 11 on GB News, we bring you the next day's stories the day before.
Basically like time travel.
If it's a big story, we'll cover it, guaranteed. But we'll also have some fun along the way.
Big opinions, big laughs. Sometimes big hair.
This is
Headliners, the paper review show that won't send you to sleep like the others will.
11 p.m, 7 nights a week. Join us.
Hello there, I'm Eamon Holmes.
And I'm Isabel Webster.
And we hope you can join us for
Breakfast with Eamon
and Isabel.
You make me laugh out loud, belly laugh.
Is that important first thing in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's me trying to be deadly serious. News is a serious business.
Yeah, I have to rein you in sometimes.
Well, it doesn't stop us laughing at it. It doesn't stop us having an opinion on what's going on.
Yeah.
And it certainly will not stop us reflecting what you think.
Weekdays from 6 to 9:30 on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Oh yes, here we are. It's Friday Night Feast, and now it's time for Round Your Parts, where we dig deep to find some absolute gems of local news. So, let's go up to Glasgow. Glasgow Live published an article recently, so Lidl shoppers slam Louis Vuitton over luxury £960 trainers, similar to Lidl's £12.99 shoes. So, I believe we can show you the Lidl shoes now. £12.99, so just under 13 quid. Lidl shoes. There we are. And they get socks. There was a lad in our office yesterday wearing those little socks, actually. Here's what the shoes look like. I don't think they look that bad, to be honest. Yeah, I'd be all right with those. Here's the £960 Louis Vuitton shoes. I mean, they're not exactly the same, are they? But I don't think there's, 900 quid's worth, 950 quid's worth of difference there. I would imagine. No, not for me. Right, Mark, I can see you in a pair of those little trainers. How much do you pay for?
Well, I've never set foot in Lidl in my life, so I didn't even know you could buy clothes from Lidl.
Why not? Are you morally opposed to Lidl?
Well, I don't see any sort of reason why I'd go there. I think if Waitrose came up with their own trainers, I'd definitely be for it.
You'd be there, yeah.
I'd be rocking some green trainers, but those are really ghastly. Even the Louis Vuitton ones are disgusting. I wouldn't ever put those on my feet.
Can I ask what your most expensive pair of shoes is?
Most expensive pair? I have a pair of Louboutins.
Yeah.
Over 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a little treat for me.
Well, it wasn't a little treat,
no,
was it?
not a little.
No.
A little. Sorry, little.
Absolutely,
little.
yes.
But I think you'll find the big on quality and little on price, aren't they?
They are. There you go. Andre, you look like a man who goes through the bins outside Lidl.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm up for anything. Doesn't bother me. No, I've got my local shop is a Waitrose because I live in quite a posh area, but I get an Asda delivery. So everybody else has got a Cardo and all this sort of thing. Asda me and my bottles of vodka and Diet Coke getting delivered in first size crates. But
right.
Yeah, although my local paper ran one of my favourite ever stories. It says local man resigns, and then it says Jeremy Kyle of King Street resigned recently. Local man resigns.
Local man resigns.
It's the most pretentious local headline I've ever heard in my life.
Fantastic. Well, I suppose he's not really a celebrity in your neck of the woods, is he?
No.
Next up, the Saddleworth Independent tweeted the following. A sneaky scoundrel has left a cricket club a letter light after stealing an S from its new sponsored end, Old Bell's End. I think we can all see what happened there. Titled after a sponsorship deal. It caused much discussion at the hunt. The hunt is on, for info to find whoever is responsible for pinching the letter. Yes, I imagine it also probably did cause a lot of discussion at the local hunt as well. But there you go. So you could see it there, I believe. But there you are. I mean, that was asking for trouble, wasn't it?
But I think there's a ward on Hounslow Council, which is Bell End. And of course, you will remember in our hometown of Manchester what they used to do to Canal Street.
Well, we don't need to now. Yeah. Yes, we all remember what they did on Canal Street.
I'm not going to say, but they removed the C and the S. I won't.
OK, good stuff. But Ryan, Mark, of course, did you personally prefer the sign with the S or without the S? Is it better to have Bell's End plural, do you think?
Yeah, I think the plural is what I always prefer anyway. Yeah. The more the merrier.
Oh, absolutely.
That's my rule in life.
What about you, Andre?
Why are you asking me this question? Do I like lots of old...
No, OK, right, so there we go. Now,
you made the segment, not me. It's not my fault.
I know. Let's go to Southwark now, where, ironically, there's a Crown Court. News published the following. Shock at piece of fruit selling for £160 in Borough Market. Let's take a look, shall we, at what it actually was. I think here it is. It's a jackfruit, and it's a big jackfruit, I suppose, but it's a lot of money. Jackfruit, I don't know if anyone's ever had this at home. You're not missing much, in my opinion. It looks a bit like tuna, but it just tastes a lot like nothing, in my opinion. But obviously that's a big round.
It was Jack.
Absolutely, there you go. But of course, Ryan Mark, that's a big round, juicy piece of fruit, isn't it? Would you like to take a bite into it? Or?
Yeah, I'd love to take a bite into it. What is all of these sexual jokes coming out?
We were wondering where you draw the line,
yeah,
right?
I've had enough, please. Stop it.
We thought, maybe we could squeeze one more in there, but
you really had a go at him. Your kids look like him.
Bell ends and big bull. Oh gosh, it's too much for me. Too much for me on a Friday, please.
I'm sorry. There's a group full of people out there who you can blame. I apologise. Okay. We will end the gratuitous sexual innuendos now, I must say. But there we go. Finally, off to Wales. Well, they've published the following story in Wales Online. Mum who didn't know she was pregnant gives birth in the middle of the night with help of teenage daughter. I think it's pretty impressive, really, to be fully pregnant and not realise. Andre, dare I ask, can you relate to this?
No. The problem is, I was just going through my filter of things I could and could not say, and I was just recognising that we were regulated by Ofcom. So unfortunately, over to you. You say something.
No, we're all right. We're all right. But I mean, I feel. Look, I've got to be honest with you. The first reaction to this, when we said it in the office before, we were talking about it, because believe it or not, there is actually quite a lot of planning and preparation that goes into the show, chaps. And every single woman in the room just went, "How can you not realise you're pregnant? How can you not realise you're pregnant?" But I suppose we'll never know, chaps, will we? We'll never know.
I suppose if we were to go through the biological reasons, it might be a bit obscene.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, OK, right, now it's time for a little bit of this. So, yes, postperson Pat, just the right side of copyright law. You love to see it. Michael has emailed in. He says, "Loving the new show, Patrick. Just don't make me laugh whilst I'm drinking my cuppa." Oh, you're very welcome. Another Michael has also emailed in, Michael Squared. He says, "Enjoyed the challenge this week." He says, good on you, mate. I wouldn't have the bottle to do that. Keep it coming. Yes, if anyone is just joining us, we, of course, went gymnastics this week, didn't we? In Milton Keynes. You guys challenged me, my lovely viewers, listeners on the radio, viewers online as well, patrick@gbnews.uk, and just challenged me to do something. We have got, I think it's fair to say, an absolute corker in the can, coming anyway, in another few weeks. The reason why I've wanted to long it out for the next few weeks is because in order for me to do this, I'm not going to reveal what it is, but in order for me to do this, I'm going to have to lose about 1.5 stone. And I need to do that anyway, but I'm really going to have to do it now. So we've knocked it back for a few weeks, but I'm going to keep you hanging on that one. Damon says, "I will say I very much like to look forward to your Friday evening show. I reckon a good challenge would be wing walking. Would love to see your face when you complete this challenge. I would sponsor you, as I'm sure many other people would too." Hey, keep it coming. I like a bit of this. We thought about wing walking, actually, but one of the problems that we had was I'd have to have a GoPro on my head, presumably. I don't know if we'd be able to have a cameraman up there or indeed find one who'd want to do it. And I'm so bad with technology that basically what we'd do is, I think, go up to the sky, I'd wing walk, and then come back down and realise I hadn't turned the camera on or something, and we'd end up not getting any footage, which would be quite an expensive mistake, one of which I imagine I might pay with my job. But anyway, I mean, ironically, so what we've been talking about, Belen has been in touch. He's emailed in regarding COVID jabs, as we were discussing earlier on. I'll definitely not get a booster of any type of jab. So this is in relation to what we had our big debate on earlier on, and I was keen to get your views on this. Lots of you, as you can see, have emailed in about whether or not you're going to end up getting any more COVID jabs. Are we on a bit of a vaccine merry-go-round, as far as I can see, where every 6 months or so you're going to end up having to take another jab? At what point do we go, enough's enough? At what point do we say, hey, maybe Omicron or whatever new variant comes next is now just a bit like a cold or like the flu, and actually we should treat it as such. If you're ill, maybe stay away from others. If not, crack on with your life. But anyway, let us know what you're thinking about that. Lynn has also emailed in about our COVID jab discussion as well. Thank you very much, Lynn. My hubby is a vulnerable adult and I'm his carer. So we've had 5 jabs. Goodness gracious me. No more. Interesting. I wonder why no more, apart from obviously we've just had enough. But yeah, maybe the line has been drawn, really, I suppose, when it comes to the coronavirus jabs. I'm just going to carry on just quickly with you guys now while I've got you. Just bring my panel back in very quickly. Just back onto this COVID jab nonsense. Do you think that actually people are just going to stop taking the 4th jab, the 5th jab, etc., etc., etc.? Do you think you're going to go enough's enough?
Well, I think there is a difficulty here because people are looking for vaccine statuses to go abroad and all this sort of thing. So whether at the moment they're asking you to be fully vaccinated, whether they want you to have additional jabs, I don't know. That was the reason why I was sort of kind of tempted to get my vaccine. But I do think there's an element of just virtue signalling here, just to prove you're right on. And the government always giving us more and more jabs. You know, when we've heard that the medical benefit of it is marginal. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but it's marginal.
I'm with you on that. Ryan, I think people have had enough by and large now. I think people just want out of this. People are ready to carry on and live their lives. It's amazing, for example, when the invasion of Ukraine happened, where COVID went. I mean, you know, I think it was one of our contemporaries here at GBNews, Mark Dolan, tweeted, it was very nice of Vladimir Putin to end the pandemic, you know? It seems like COVID has just disappeared from our discourse pretty much, apart from the next jab coming around.
Well, that's it. All of it sort of vanished. All of the people tweeting, the virtue signalling warriors on Twitter just were, you know, gone.
Yeah.
And when I speak to my friends, I'm 21, all of my friends my age, they have had enough as well. Yeah. They got the vaccine initially to go abroad, to get into nightclubs, but that was really the incentive. And now asking to get a fourth jab, this is just excessive, in my opinion. I think we need to stop it.
Yeah, well, there you are. Let us know what your views are. Lots of people obviously have been getting in touch with us, and we love to see it. Thank you. I always love the interaction on Friday Night Feast. So we are going to give you a little bit of a breather, but there's plenty more still to come on Friday Night Feast. But before we have a little breather, do you know the answer to this question? How many energy firms have gone bust in 2022? Is it 7, 22 or 58? I'll have the answer after this very short break.
On Mark Dolan tonight, should we double military spending? I'll be joined by the chairman of the House of Commons Defence Select Committee, Tobias Ellwood, and former Labour London Mayor Ken Livingstone. In the news agenda, is it wrong to call children fat? And do we still need the Commonwealth? We'll debate that with my all-star panel, including best-selling author and Sun columnist Tony Parsons. And in my big opinion, why has a top BBC star launched an attack on a GB News presenter? See you at 9.
GB News is the UK's home of discussion and debate
from all perspectives.
To stay up to date on the latest stories,
make sure that you subscribe to the GB News channel
right here on YouTube.
You can watch us live 24/7 across the whole world.
You can also check out exclusive content and catch up on previous episodes of your favourite shows.
Every day, we ask the questions
that you'd ask, so why not add your voice to the conversation in the comments section?
Don't forget to subscribe. We are GB News, Britain's news channel.
Every night at 11 on GB News, we bring you the next day's stories the day before.
Basically like time travel.
If it's a big story, we'll cover it, guaranteed. But we'll also have some fun along the way.
Big opinions, big laughs. Sometimes big hair.
This is
Headliners, the paper review show that won't send you to sleep like the others will.
11 p.m, 7 nights a week. Join us.
Hello there, I'm Eamon Holmes.
And I'm Isabel Webster.
And we hope you can join us for
Breakfast with Eamon
and Isabel.
You make me laugh out loud, belly laugh.
Is that important first thing in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's me trying to be deadly serious. News is a serious business.
Yeah, I have to rein you in sometimes.
Well, it doesn't stop us laughing at it. It doesn't stop us having an opinion on what's going on.
Yeah.
And it certainly will not stop us reflecting what you think.
Weekdays from 6 to 9:30 on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Welcome back, everyone. Before the break, I asked how many energy firms have gone bust in 2022? Is it 7, 22 or 58? And the answer, shockingly, actually, is 22. 22 firms have gone bump already this year. Rishi Sunak this week revealed his massive package yet again. He got his budget out for the lads. We're in the middle of a cost of living crisis, so I thought I would find out what the great British public, whether or not the great British public can spot a fake policy when they hear one. Here goes. The government have got a new initiative. They're saying that if you turn your heating off for a week, they'll give you a free jumper. Worth it or not?
Nah.
Why not?
I might not like the jumper.
It's green.
They can stick it.
I don't need any more jumpers.
That works for me because I'm always very hot, so I would love the
You're
jumper.
always very hot. You'd love the jumper. Yeah,
but that's silly, actually.
Not good enough.
No?
No. If you're going to do something, say subsidise.
Right.
Yeah?
Well, it's a free jumper.
Well, yeah, seems a bit silly, really.
A free jumper?
Yeah.
Nah. I'll keep my radiator on.
At least it will make people switch it off. Whether you get jumper or not doesn't matter. It's a concept.
It's rubbish.
It's rubbish. Yeah. You're gonna have a row. You're gonna have a row later. Why do you think it's rubbish?
Yeah, because what's the connection between heating and jumper?
Well, warmth.
The jumper arm.
Warmth, really.
Yeah.
In this weather.
In this weather, exactly. That's probably why they did it. They're gonna have to give no jumpers away.
It's not the 1st of April yet, is it?
No. I thought that woman at the end there was like a cross between Judy Murray and that woman who used to be Lord Sugar's assistant on The Apprentice.
Yes, Margaret.
Margaret?
Yeah.
Was it her?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It wasn't her.
Oh, okay.
It was a hybrid, though.
Oh, I thought it was John Pertwee.
Okay. Oh, that's bad. Right, so look, let's just look into this really, because obviously that was in light of the budget, that was in light of the cost of living crisis that we're seeing now. What did you make overall of Rishi Sunak's massive package? The budget.
Why are you doing this to me, right? Why ask him? Right, I'm never coming on this show again.
Come on, no, just ask, you know.
On a serious note,
yeah.
Look, I just genuinely think that he has completely mucked things up. I mean, lest we forget the Eat Out to Help Out, where we all went.
My God.
Well, probably Ryan didn't, but we all went to Wetherspoons and had a 2-for-1 pizza. And then, of course, they shut the pubs anyway.
Yeah.
And so I think he's backed himself into a hole, and now he's just really damaging the economy. Well, the only thing I can think to do, and I don't know if it's going to be a particular benefit, but we should do it anyway, bonfire all these European regulations that we can now do as a result of leaving the European Union. Because, frankly, we can't cut tax because the amount of money he spent.
Does the budget affect you in any way, shape or form?
No, not really. I just have all of my gilets at home, so I'm always warm. I don't need any jumpers from Rishi Sunak. And I think I agree with Andre. He comes up with these silly policies. He's had to help out, and now this. He's just... I really can't stand Rishi Sunak.
One of the biggest issues for a lot of people in the budget was that Rishi Sunak's budget didn't go far enough when it comes to nullifying the cost of living crisis for the poorest in society. Do you feel as though we do need to do more to help poor people?
Well, absolutely. And I think the major problem with Rishi Sunak is that he is so out of touch. He's married to a billionaire's daughter. He is very wealthy himself. He has an expansive property portfolio. He can't relate to the poorest in society. And I think that is why we're struggling with this at the moment in terms of him recognising the issues the poorest in the society face.
Yeah, I mean, there were some absolutely terrible own goals from Rishi, who... You know, this guy's not got an easy job. I personally don't care about how much money he's got in his bank account. I'm actually quite glad that our Chancellor is a fabulously wealthy individual, because that means actually they know their way around a spreadsheet. They know how to handle money. They know how to generate money. You wouldn't put me in charge of it. We'd be dead in a week. But you know, Rishi Sunak going to a petrol station, I think borrowing someone else's car to fill up with petrol, then going to pay for it. From what I could see, he went to tap a barcode thing as opposed to the actual cash point, which indicates maybe how very rarely he ever does that kind of thing, right? What do you make of? Do you think he's out of touch?
Look, if you're as rich as Rishi Sunak, wouldn't you just buy an old banger rather than borrowing one? But then again, I suppose he's rich because he's a little bit stingy. I will say one thing that I think is a bit of a warning when people have a go at him. When the Labour Party always stand up and say, party of millionaires, cabinet of millionaires, whatever, I always feel like asking the Labour Party, what level of personal success should bar you from public office? Because clearly they believe there is a level of success over which you should not be allowed into politics. But I just think that we've got to do the main thing more than anything else. And I hate when Conservatives in the south of England turn around and go, oh, well, I wouldn't go up for this price and all this sort of thing. We've got to actually improve schools in Northern England, get some infrastructure done and get the economy going. That's the solution, not to sit there and give massive state handouts, stick everybody in Manchester and Liverpool on the social eating pizzas all day, which has destroyed generations of people in various communities. We've got to get people out back to work, and we've got to tell these bloody teaching unions that they're lazy. Those teachers that didn't want to come in during the coronavirus, we should sack all those guys because they were the bad teachers anyway. And that's The way to get back is education.
Have you been, I don't know if you saw the clip of Boris Johnson when he was at the NATO summit being, quotes unquote, shunned by other leaders, ignored, isolated. And actually, if you just watch that full clip, he wasn't. He wasn't at all. Yet a lot of people in our media seemed very keen to try to portray Boris Johnson as being an isolated figure, almost try to portray Britain as some kind of global pariah. Do you think we talk this country down too much, Ramal?
Yeah, I think there is a tendency to do that, to demonise the likes of Boris Johnson, and I think that is a great shame because I think we do have some really great leaders, and I think Boris Johnson, as much as he has his faults, as every politician does, I think he is a pretty good leader.
Yep.
And when he was speaking at NATO, I thought he did a very good job, and I think it is pretty unfair for the media to portray him in that way, and unjust.
Yeah, just quickly, were you annoyed at some of the rhetoric that came out there?
I think it goes even further. There are people in this country who would love it if this country failed in order to prove their own dogma about the European Union. And you know, those people, as far as I'm concerned, they should move to the European Union and enjoy it whilst it lasts, because it won't.
All right, OK, thank you very much. OK, well, we are going to actually move on from that now. We've got something else, actually. We've got something entirely different. It's one of my favourite features of this show. How can you not love it? Today, it's Dog of the Week time, right? And this dog, this wonderful dog, comes all the way from Wales, so you can save it from Mark Drakeford if you really want to. It's Cola, an 11-year-old Staffordshire Bull Terrier, affectionately known as Cola Bear. Oh, look at Cola Bear, bless her. I didn't hear me. So, he is looking for a new home due to his owner's ill health. Very sorry to hear that, of course. But Cola Bear loves cuddles and playtime and to roll around in the long grass. Sounds a bit like me. His favourite toy is a little stuffed bear as well. And joining me now from Wales is Katie Bull, Welfare and Adoption Officer at Charity Hope Rescue. Katie, thank you very much for joining us. How are you, first and foremost?
Hiya, I'm OK, thank you.
Good. How's Cola?
He's great, yeah, he's a lovely lad.
OK, and so why should people give Cola a home? Because it's always so sad, isn't it, when you see these dogs that are of a certain age in their dotage, as it were. It's quite difficult to rehome those, I imagine, is it?
Yeah, it can take a bit longer for the older dogs. I think sometimes people are put off maybe by their age, just in the fact that they are in their kind of older years. But Cola, bless him, he's got plenty of life left in him. He loves his walks, as you said, like he loves to go out and spend time with people. He's just a bit shy initially, so he's looking for that quieter home, but he is such a wonderful chap.
And there's a lot of misconceptions about Staffordshire Bull Terriers. I've never understood it myself, personally. People seem to think that they've got behavioural issues or they can be a bit aggressive, but actually a lot of that, as far as I can tell, seems to be down to the owner who had them before, and Cola seems lovely.
Yeah, it's just all about training with them and just the right kind of socialisation with them. If they miss out on a bit of that training when they're younger, it can unfortunately lead to some worrying behaviours around new people. Cola is, I say, he's shy around new people, but actually, like, he's got a really lovely temperament when he knows you. He loves spending time with his carers and coming out for walks with us.
OK, all right. And so, unfortunately, his owner's not particularly well, as I understand it. So how long has Cola actually been with you guys?
So he's been with us now for about 4 months. So he came in just before Christmas. And I say, unfortunately, he's just one of those that just seems to have missed out on home opportunity. I think, again, because he's an older boy, he tends to get a little bit overlooked.
OK, all right. And in terms of energy, obviously Cola's 11 years old now. Does he still love a walk?
Oh, definitely, yeah. We've got actually really nice here. We've got a nice access to a woodland and some really nice fields. And he's always up and eager for a walk. He definitely kind of loves both of the, you know, if he can go out for a nice walk and then come back and enjoy a cuddle on the sofa, that's his ideal. OK, all right. And are there any kind of dietary requirements or anything remotely like that whatsoever? You can see my next guest just sashaying her way into the studio there. Don't worry. Hold your horses, people. But are there any kind of dietary issues or anything like that? Because obviously Cola's getting on a little bit. He's actually doing OK at the minute. When he first came into us, he did need a dental. So he had his dental operation just to kind of clear out his teeth and just remove a tooth that was causing him some bother. But other than that, he eats really well and he's not showing any signs of anything worrying at the moment.
Good with kids, so, you know, there's no need for any issues with that. He's not an escapologist, is he? He's not going to try and get out your garden, dig his way out?
He shouldn't try and dig his way out, no. I say just probably an adult-only home just because he's an older boy at the moment. Just a nice, quiet home where he can kind of enjoy his walks and enjoy some one-to-one time, really.
Hang on a little minute now. I've just been told, Katie, you've actually got Cola there, have you? Can we have a look?
Yeah, he's sat here with you. I'll just turn the camera around for you now.
There we go. There we go. Oh, hello, Cola. I tell you what, he looks well fit. I want to know what his moisturising routine is. Fantastic. 11-year-old Cola. Well, what a lovely dog Cola is. And so anyone, if they want to get in touch with you, Katie, how do they go about it? Have you got a website? Have you got a phone number? I think.
Whoa.
I think
he's eaten the camera.
It's like Cola's had a go on the camera there now, I think. But, there we go. Oh, well. That was Cola's had enough. Cola's had enough. That was, of course, from Katie Bull, Welfare Adoption Officer at charity Hope Rescue. Fantastic stuff there from Cola. And she's back. She's back for more. There we are, I believe. Hey, I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. But so go on, tell us, how can people get in touch with you at Hope Rescue?
So if you go onto the Hope Rescue website, there's some information on there about Cola, plus all the other dogs that we've got for homing at the moment. And it explains on there how you go about applying for one of our dogs. It's just a case of putting in an online application form, and then a member of staff then will be in touch in regards to application with more details about the dog.
Fantastic stuff. Well, you heard it there. Thank you so much. Good luck to Cola, and of course, good luck to you as well, Katie. You do fantastic work, and really, ladies and gentlemen, if you do. I would just implore you, come on, let's get a rescue dog at home, especially one like Cola. This is why I wanted to come up with this feature, OK? Look, puppies, they do all right, don't they? Crufts, a lot of pedigrees as well, they do OK, and they go for a lot of money. But there's a lot of dogs out there that are desperate for a home that might not be your most conventional type of pooch. And I really want to try and help some of those out. So there we go. Right, now, time for an occasional feature here on Friday Night Feast called Well, That Obviously Didn't Happen. And this week, it's a tweet from someone on Twitter called Amina, who has about 10,000 followers, so hardly a massive deal, it's fair to say. So it says, so I got to the airport this morning to take the next flight to the UK. Then I realised I forgot my passport at home. Still thinking of what to do. This pilot saw me and was like, am I not Amina from Twitter? I said, yes, long story short, I'm now tweeting from the UK. That obviously didn't happen. Andre, I mean, there's no way a pilot has just walked up to someone in an airport and gone, well, screw that, to be fair. You can just, I'll let you on. I'll let you on.
Although, do you know, I think things like that have happened in the past. I've got a friend of mine who worked at Heathrow Airport, and he was the boss of a scouting movement, and one of the scouts got ill abroad, and they just flew his mum and dad out without a passport. But this is like in about 1982, right? I don't think it happens nowadays. But yes. I suspect that didn't happen. I mean, what's the long story short? That the pilot
she went home and went home and got her passport, and then came back to the airport and got on a later flight. Anyway,
I think that's probably right.
You must get recognised quite a lot these days, right, Mark?
Well, yeah, being an international reality superstar, I walk onto flights without passports. Right. I can really relate to it. Is it Amina? Is she the famous Twitter user with 10,000 followers?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, there you go. I totally relate to that story, and I also have the same benefits.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the words benefits and Ryan Mark tend to not go together that well, do they, really?
Not usually.
You normally, you always turn left on the plane, I take it?
Always.
Yeah, always. You've got to.
What's right?
What's
right?
Well, it's like, honestly,
Forest.
it smells like a farm.
That's where we are.
That's where we are, yeah, exactly.
I'd rather avoid it then, I think.
OK, right, without further dither and delay, ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed it just a little while ago there, just sneaking into vision. Thank you very much. It's time for our national treasure. Most of us have dressed in a plastic bin bag for Halloween or something, but our next guest used one to get into one of London's most prestigious fashion events. It's Ellie Marie Whitby, all the way from Runcorn, thank you very much, which is nearish our neck of the woods, actually, Andre,
it is, yeah, it is.
And you used a friend as a fake paparazzi photographer to trick event organisers into thinking that she was famous, so they wouldn't actually refuse her entry. Well, it certainly worked, and she even ended up getting a good seat for the London Fashion Week catwalk as well. I'm pleased to welcome Ellie Marie Whitby into the studio now. You are this week's national treasure. Well done. Fantastic. So, right, just start from the beginning. Well, how did you come up with this idea? Why did you do it?
So I watched another YouTuber do this, but in normal clothes. He just snuck in. I was like, how do I want to do this guy better. I want to up the stakes. And I thought, well, a bin bag, you can't get better than a bin bag. If I can sneak into a fashion week in a bin bag, no one can outdo that. So that was my goal, and I did it.
And I mean, was there any resistance whatsoever?
Yeah, the biggest issue was, like, for security reasons, they moved each catwalk to a different location and no one could know the address. So I spent probably about 5 hours trying to, like, phone up as many people as I could in cafes, just trying to figure out where one of these catwalks were. And, yeah, someone ended up letting slip.
So you're paparazzi?
Yes.
Talk me through that.
So my friend Mikey came along and Steph, and they basically just... There was paparazzi outside the event, and they just started paparazziing me and were, like, collaring other people over, like nudging
Oh,
the paparazzi.
this is brilliant. We can see it there. Sorry for our radio listeners.
Yeah.
We can see Ellie there. Being fake papped, being fake papped. I mean, it's magnificent. So you got your friends to fake pap you, and then after that, it was just like, well, this girl must be famous.
Yeah, that was pretty much how it worked. I kind of just blended in with the other celebrities that were there. I don't know how, because I'm in a bin bag, but...
Have you got a can of Coke strapped to you?
I do, so I just started picking up litter from the floor. I got a banana peel as well off the floor before I went in. Just tucked it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, I suppose I was going to make a joke. There's an obvious joke there about London Fashion Week and that kind of stuff, but I won't go there. It's still a family show. But, so when you got in, what happened?
So I had a pretty bad, standing seat. So the woman in front of me, I kind of just copied what she said, and she was like, oh, I'm standing. But after a bit of time passed, a woman came over to us and pulled us to the side and was like, I've got 2 spare seats if you want to come and sit next to me, because 2 people hadn't showed up.
Right.
And it turned out she was the editor of Vogue.
Oh, my gosh.
She invited us to front row seats.
So you were wearing a bin bag in front of the editor of Vogue, who then upgraded your seats.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you start to think maybe the fashion industry is total nonsense?
To be honest, I thought that before going in. But it kind of just proved my point, really.
This is just an absolute joke. I mean, a wonderful, quite literally a joke, but also like a joke when it comes to the fashion industry as well. So how long did you hang around for?
So I stayed for the full show. It was about 20, 30-minute catwalk.
Any after parties?
No, unfortunately not. But yeah, got to meet a lot of cool people in there, and some of the women started getting a bit of an argument with me as well about my bin bag.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I said it was like a pollution piece and it was a fashion statement. And then she started shouting at me for wearing plastic. And,
no way.
God.
Yeah.
That is genius.
Goodness me, this is fantastic.
That is the best bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So literally, the fact that you'd gone and made a complete mockery of them all with fake paparazzi and something that you bought from Asda, right? And the only complaint was it was single-use.
It was single-use plastic. Exactly. Have you ever been to a fashion week?
I have, yes.
What's it like?
It's interesting, lots of interesting characters. I haven't seen a bin bag before at Fashion Week, but I love the idea. I think when I first go to Lidl, this is what I'm going to wear to fit in with the rest of the customers.
Well, actually, I understand you've done me the courtesy of bringing a bin bag in for me.
Yeah, of course.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Or should we try it on? Have I got a choice of bin bag?
Well, I've gone for, like, the Greek god theme.
Thank you. I mean, naturally.
I thought you've got to be confident wearing
I am a half Cypriot.
Well, there you go.
I thought she was just being racist.
Right, OK. Go on. So what happens?
I've got you a little crown.
A little crown?
Yeah,
OK, this isn't itself some kind of stitch-up, is it, now? I'm going to end up on your YouTube, like...
Yes. Well, you never know.
This has got, like, I don't know, V's on it.
That's a pull string, so that's good for the underwear, isn't it?
Yeah.
OK, right, so I've got my crown on. Yes,
so this is your bin bag attire. This is the main outfit. That's kind of your little robe.
My sash.
Yeah, your sash.
Right, OK, good stuff. You hold that. Hold my sash. Yeah. And so what do I do?
So just, if you go through the bottom, stick your head straight through.
I'm being told to...
Yeah,
do you want me to help you?
Yes,
right.
please.
So
yeah, that's the belt.
Right. What I think we need to do, rather than kill you, but we need to put that bag over his head.
They can put a hole in it.
So put the
there is
bag
holes
over
in it.
There is
a hole.
There we go.
Sorry, I'm in front of the camera. No. Let me get out of the way so I can help you.
I suspect we might have to watch the microphones. I think it's important to say as well, anyone at home, don't put a plastic bag over your head.
Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable comment.
Make sure there's a hole in it.
OK, I'm a bit stuck.
Do you know, I can do anything to him now. This is brilliant.
That's
there's your armholes. We've got it wrong.
Weirdly threatening. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, you've got
There
it.
you go.
You've done it. You've done it.
I'm ready for London Fashion Week now. Am I?
Brilliant. Get the rope on.
I'm hoping.
Okay, that's the belt. Do you want me to tie it around?
Yeah,
Round
this one's old. This one's old, but it's
If you are
beautiful.
listening on radio, I'm
Right, you want to do that?
being draped. That'll do. I'm being draped in a bin bag.
There you go. There's the sash.
Okay, good stuff. So do you reckon I could get into London Fashion Week looking
Easily.
like this?
Easily. They'll let you in tomorrow.
Okay, well, there we are. This is me, resplendent now. Thank you very much. So, OK, all right. And would you recommend... Have you got any other pranks lined up? I don't suppose you give us any sneaky previews, could you?
I recently did one where I swam from Alcatraz. So that was the one before the bin bag. Yeah.
You actually swam from...
Yeah.
You actually swim from Alcatraz?
I promise.
You swam from Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Is this like... Yeah, but is Alcatraz like a nightclub in Slough or something?
No, well, I think there might be an Alcatraz there, but I went to America and I swam from it.
Did you have to go training for that?
There's like some athletes that do it and train for about a year. I did it in 2
Aren't there
weeks.
sharks?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right,
Seals.
okay. Isn't Alcatraz the prison that famously you didn't think anyone could swim away from?
Yeah, but I wanted to prove that you could.
OK. So why did you get into all this mad stuff?
I don't know. I've always liked making videos. Each video I just want to do better and better. So I don't know what...
Me?
Yeah.
You're going to have to go to the moon next, aren't you?
I'll have to build a rocket.
Have to build a rocket?
Any suggestions of what I could do?
Well, I'll have a think. I mean, I'm sure we've got a few people who we could prank. Well, right, OK. Well, look, Ellie, thank you very much. And thank you very much for taking the time to come down. You are the only national treasure we've had so far that's dressed me up. Certainly in single-use plastic.
Now you are a national treasure
Now
too.
I am a national treasure. I actually think you should have this because you are.
Oh, thank you
You
very
are the
much.
national treasure.
Thank you.
Well done, Ellie. Fantastic. Making a complete and utter mockery out of our fashion industry. Ellie Marie Whitby there, who's come all the way from Runcorn. Right, OK. Time for a little bit of post-person Pat, ladies and gentlemen. We always like to finish off with a bit of you guys, don't we? So why should this week be any different? Brian says, we need to scrap the monarchy after the Queen leaves this earth. OK, I like the fact that he couldn't bring himself to say dies, right? She's such a national treasure that we can't even contemplate the Queen's death when she vacates Buckingham Palace. Or, there's a lot of people who might agree with that, actually, because, look, it doesn't matter which way you dress it up, Charles isn't as popular.
Well, do you know what the New Zealanders have said? They've said that they will not have a referendum on the monarchy because if they were to abolish the monarchy now, the Queen would win the election as president. But when she dies, they will have a referendum.
OK, fair enough. All right, and Philip disagrees, says, definitely no, do not scrap the Commonwealth, instead stop apologising for history. Well, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, we're very nearly at the end of the show, and I mean, I'd just like to say thank you very much to everyone who's been taking part and who's been getting involved, and for dressing me up as a bin bag as well. But, yeah, that's right. And we've got a taxi for Christys.
Taxi for Christys.
Yeah, I realise I actually haven't got a watch on, but there we go. It's time for me to leave the building now, a little bit like Elvis, to head off home. But, of course, this was the week that Boris Johnson suddenly found himself without friends, apparently, when he asked the people around him to define what a woman is. There he is. You can see him there at NATO. Absolutely everybody shunning him. Police appealed for witnesses after one of the country's highest-profile thieves was seen filling his car with fuel at a petrol garage. There he is.
Hey.
And the women of GBNews got a rare treat when two stunning hunks made a rare appearance together in the newsroom. That's right, Mark White there teaching me how to do a double Windsor. Now, remember, I want your suggestions for next week's Challenge 50s. Email me, patrick@gbnews.uk. Thank you so much to my panellists. We've had Andre Walker, we've had Ryan Mark Parsons. Thank you for watching. I'll be back at 10 a.m. on Monday with To The Point, and, of course, Friday Night Feast returns 7 p.m. next Friday. The brilliant Mark Dolan is next. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Hey. Hello again, I'm Luke Mile with your forecast and plenty of dry, warm and sunny weather to come as we go into this weekend. If you like it dry and warm, as I say, we've got plenty of it to come. High pressure in charge of our weather, which means the weather's not moving very quickly. It's staying fairly stable and there's not much winds around, with those isobars few and far between across the map. So it stays settled. Aside from a weather front just affecting the far north of Scotland, that'll bring some cloud and outbreaks of rain to Shetland over the next 12 to 24 hours. But away from that, through Saturday into the early hours, plenty of clear skies. So a chilly start to the day. Temperatures dropping down to 1s and 2s, so there will be a touch of frost, I think, first thing. 1 or 2 mist or fog patches as well. But we are compensated with a lot of blue skies to wake up the day with, and plenty of sunshine lasting throughout for most places. We will see a bit more cloud around the west of Scotland and across the Northern Isles and the far northeast of Scotland too. A little bit of fair weather cloud may bubble up elsewhere, particularly over the Pennines, but for the vast majority it once again will be a warm and sunny afternoon. 19 degrees the top temperature, could even get close to 20 in a few places. The average for this time of year is around 12 or 13 degrees. Through Saturday evening then, a lot of fine weather to end the day. Few bits and pieces of cloud melting away, and it stays dry and clear. But we will start to see more cloud drifting in off the North Sea. Low cloud at that, so misty and murky conditions developing for eastern Scotland, eastern England, East Anglia and the southeast of England as well. A bit more of a breeze in the southeast will make it feel that bit cooler as well. And that low cloud just drifts its way a little bit further westwards as we go through the day on Sunday. So a different picture for some central and eastern areas of the country. A lot more cloud around, feeling colder than it has done of late. Further towards the west is where we'll see the best chance of that sunshine and those higher temperatures. But it stays dry with some sunshine into next week. Cooler by Tuesday. Bye-bye.
GB News is the UK's home of discussion and debate
from all perspectives.
To stay up to date on the latest stories,
Make sure that you subscribe to the GB News channel
right here.